Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Jeremiah chapter 8, verses 20 through 22. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black. Astonishment have taken hold on me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered?
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Balm in Gilead.
Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work's in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. Don't ever feel discouraged, for Yahshua is your friend. And if you lack for knowledge, he'll never refuse to lend. If you cannot preach like Peter, if you cannot pray like Paul, you can tell the love of Yahshua and say he died for all. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we witness some of the things that are taking place, a whole agenda is being put forth, and that agenda is to try and make us to the point where we just could not believe that we are the people of the book. And when we go through the process of showing who we are, there are already predetermined labels for what we must be if we declare that we are within this story. And it is impossible to have a story without us. And we don't want to, take that, because we still have that slave mentality where that whole is we thirsty, boss, thought process. Not are you thirsty. See, is we thirsty? See, what you have to understand, what is we thirsty saying? It's saying whatever you say you are, I am what you say I am. You understand? See, it's we thirsty. So you thirsty, I'm gonna put my all into making sure I take care of your thirst, because if you thirsty, I'm thirsty. See? So it's we thirsty. See? So nobody else has that mentality but a born servant who has forgotten that he was made to be Yahweh's servant, and he puts forth all his effort to be the servant of men, which is basically what our curse was. You were created to be a servant, so you're going to serve. All right? But you're going to either serve your Elohim or you're going to serve your enemies. But you are going to serve. It is what you were created to do. And when you look at something and you deal with how it was formed or what it was formed for, it is going to do what it needs to do to perform that function. You know, I've often told people, I don't care what kind of obedience school you send a cat to, it ain't never gonna go get the paper. It ain't never gonna protect you. You know, enemy's not gonna come in your house and your cat go, you know, and your cat defend you. Okay, it is not. That's not the purpose in which it was created. So there's nothing that you're going to do that is going to change the purpose of that. Now, we attempt to change our purpose and it doesn't work. You are created to serve, so you're going to serve something, whether you know it or not. You're going to pick some foulness to serve. You're going to serve something because it is what you were created for. It is the spirit in which you were created. And if once you understand certain things, then other things are going to fall in line. And we have to make sure that we don't try to push something outside of its designated purpose that Yahweh has designed for that thing. Now, today's sermon is entitled The Covenants of Foundation. Now, we often hear statements about the Most High Covenant God of Israel. But what does that really mean? A covenant is an alliance or an agreement. Yahweh, the El of Israel, entered into covenants or alliances with mortal men of his choosing. He then reestablished those covenants with select members of their offspring. These covenants were almost always conditional upon man accepting the terms laid out in great detail before him. The great detail was a blessing and a curse. The blessing was in that it gave us wonderful instruction as to how we can please our Elohim. It became a curse upon our disobedience, as it gave grave instructions to our enemies concerning ways to keep us from regaining the alliance with our Elohim. When you look back at the situation of Daniel, they said, look, we done already examined Daniel's life. We're not going to find any problem with him because there's no problem in him, except we find it concerning the law of his Elohim. So to then find a problem with Daniel, they have to then examine the law of his Elohim. Get him to profess something, then switch some things around on him and put him in between a rock and a brick wall so that you make it to where he either has to follow his Elohim or the law of man. And I'm telling you, the way Daniel is, he's going to choose his Elohim every time. So if we want to find a problem with Elohim, this brother with Daniel, then we have to examine the law of his Elohim. What do you think the individuals are doing who are seeking a quarrel with us? They have spent generations examining the law of our Elohim, while the majority of our people are Holy Ghost dancing. We think the Holy Ghost don't come until you play certain music. Meanwhile, while they are helping to fund our miseducation, they are, on the other hand, educating themselves on just how to make sure we never regain the alliance with our Elohim. And when you get right down to it, those of us who understand are in a minority, People want to tell you about being a minority. Let me show you the greatest minority in the world. Here it is right here. A true Israelite man who makes an attempt at walking in the law of his Elohim. You don't get greater minority than that. But what did my Elohim say? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed a knee to the image of Baal. It was a minority then. It's a minority now. So when other people try to tell us how they're the greatest persecuted minority, we are a minority inside of a minority. Do you understand what we are? When he says the sword from without and the terror from within, not only do I have to deal with the white supremacists, I got to deal with the black thug idiots that don't know where the belt is. So when you talk about a minority, we got it both ways. But you know what? I hate to sound arrogant, but I was born for this. So you go ahead and keep stacking the odds. But it is what it is. This is what I was born for. My whole life got purpose because of this. And you got to know the same thing. So let's go over these things so that people won't be able to make you question who you are in this legacy. Because that's what it's all about. Them making you question yourself. See? So everybody can recognize, you know, when a dog is in attack posture, when he's growling, when he's showing you the fangs. Everybody know, oh man, he about to sink those teeth in. He about to sink them canines in me. He's angry. One of the reasons why certain people said there were certain dogs they didn't like, because you couldn't tell when they was angry. Before you know it, they just go right out and bite you. Like they be sitting there playing, and you say, oh man, this is a happy dog. Oh. There was no warning. Are you able to recognize the things when it looked like something else? Let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 1 through 22.
Verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Now, my brother has gone over this. I have gone over this. People are going to tell you that this is giants coming in to regular women. And what it's dealing with is these sons of Elohim, people, the minority inside a minority, who instead of getting a woman of Elohim, they decided they wanted to get a woman who was fair to look upon or fair or whatever. They wanted earthly women. So what happened is that power or the spirit of Yahweh was then used for earthly things. These kids are then being born with a gift, but they use that gift for natural things. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Now, this is a true blessing of Yahweh. We don't see it, that man's time is being cut down, but this cuts down the number of things that man has to be judged for. You live 1,000 years, you got 1,000 years worth of sin to answer for. You live 120 years, you got 120 years worth of sin to answer for. Which one of those numbers you think going to be higher? So there's a reason why, you know, I got to the point where I figured out, even in the street, you don't stay at the party too long. There's a limited amount of time you stay at the party. See, it's all those who hang at the party too long. This is where the dirt goes down. See, the dirt ends up happening when everybody else is gone. There's them stragglers that keep hanging out. Now the bouncer done left, ain't no metal detector in the parking lot. Things go down now. You should have been gone by then. So you got to learn, the longer you are in a bad situation, the higher the possibility of some negative things happening. So there's certain situations that you got to know, I'm going to limit my amount of time here. Say, you going to the party? Yeah. Say, well, you know what? How is it when you go to the party, stuff don't never happen? That's because I'm gone when the party over. Y'all keep hanging around trying to see what you can catch. And sometimes you catch a bullet. Go ahead.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old,
right,
men of renown.
Right, natural gifts. They've taken the gift of Elohim and used it for something natural. Go ahead.
And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Right, Yahweh sees that. Man doesn't see that about himself. See, we think that our thoughts are good because they ain't as bad as our friends. See, that's the only thing we need to make us feel good is somebody who's more evil than us. That's why some people hang around other evil people.
Well, at least I'm not like James.
James is not the example. Yahshua is. Go ahead.
And it repented Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yahweh said, I'll destroy man whom I've created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repents me that I have made them.
All right, question. What did the beast do? Well, not necessarily. As man brings evil on the earth, it affects the animals as well. See, when you watch those people breed pit bulls, they keep the pit bull in a fighting arena, all right? So each one of them, they start breeding the best fighters and making better fighters. See, that's man's mentality that has now affected the animal. The animal gets worse and worse and worse. And they'll tell you that certain animals, once it tastes man blood, you got to do something. Even when, if a woman laid with an animal, you had to kill the woman and the animal. The animal is now twisted. Now the animal is going to change its nature. So you might say the animal didn't do anything per se, but as man turns degenerate, so does his beast. His beast follows him. I walk my dog walk. I do my dog do. If I do foulness, my dog sees foulness and it tries to emulate my foulness. Well, it's got to go too. Go ahead.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahweh. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with Elohim. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Now, right here we're getting into this thing where everything that we have been presented has been shown that all of these people are Gentiles. And, you know, we were given these first Bibles that we were given as children. They had images in them for a reason. Those images were to give other people a boost of self-esteem while killing our self-esteem, to make you believe that you're not anything important at all. Because every image that I'm going to show you of anybody of importance in this book, they are not going to look like you. So a story has to be concocted that you were cursed black. Now, why does that lie become necessary? See, if Noah is white and the earth is beginning again with Noah and his family, the need for the lie is very strong here. Why? Because white people can't make a black baby. So that lie is now needful if you're going to transform, all right? If you're going to make all of the founding fathers white, you have to now tell a lie for how the black man got here. Because all these white people are not going to make no black baby. It's not possible. You know, we understand the science that they call it. Let's whatever you want to call that, Yahweh created that. Okay? People say, I don't like science. No, you just don't understand that Yahweh is the greatest scientist ever known. He created science. So when people say, oh man, that was a miracle, what he did was move all the elements, you know, that he created and put those elements together. And people say, oh, it was magic.
No, it's a equation. See, let me show you something. See, it's not magic. I know my minerals. You know what I'm saying? I know my periodic table. See, I knew it before you called it a periodic table. See, I know all that. So if I put the right things together, it's gonna make this. And the reason I'm not showing you, because you're gonna blow something up. See, that's all you're gonna do is try to make an atomic bomb with it. That's what you're gonna do. But it was always there. So science says the founding color has to be black. Because out of black, I can pull every other color in the spectrum, including white. How do you think two black people make a white baby? They call it an albino. That's a white baby. You ain't never seen two white people at the hospital. Man, well, we done gave birth to a pookie. What? You ain't never seen that. It ain't never happened. It ain't never gonna happen. Because it's not possible. So if you make all of these white, you have to tell a lie for how we got here. Because they don't want to tell the truth that no, these are black. And out of that comes what we call Gentile. Nobody wants to tell that truth. But you got to understand from the foundation, we don't have to get into, people start getting into what Yeshua looked like, what Abraham looked like, what Joseph looked like. Before we get all the way to Israel, let's go ahead and go right here at this foundation. If all of these people are white, the entire earth would still be white. Because white can only produce white. You understand me? Get this through your head. And if anybody tries to tell you that the truth is anti-Semitic, you make sure you tell them what the definition of anti-Semitic is. It is not possible. But the interesting thing is, they say the color don't matter as long as they white. Because if the color don't matter, why you keep giving me images that only present them white? If it don't matter, then give me a representation of everyone. If color don't matter, I should be able to look in here and it says Noah, and I look up and you gave me a Chinaman. Why I don't see Chinese Noah? Why not Mongolian Noah? I ain't never seen Zulu Noah. Why Do they always have to look the same way? And then when you present something else, now something wrong with you. Now you being racial. But wasn't you being racial when you gave us that false image? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the two white parents, on all the instances where a white couple has ever had
They
a
mixed.
black child, you go down the lineage.
You better believe
black
it.
person in their
You better believe it.
Because once it happened, they be like, what do I? And they start placing the blame. So then they start doing the search and realize, I guess it's on my side.
Right. They both mixed. And then, as they got to mixing, they forgot. Mm-hmm. It was a chocolate chip in here. And you mess around and who brought this chocolate chip cookie in here? Wait a minute. You got to go find out where that chip was. And that chip just popped out. Another generation later. Mm-hmm. Because, hey, you have a grandparent that had green eyes. The kid won't get it. But then the grandkid get the eyes from the granddaddy. Everybody be sitting around looking at each other. Hey, you need to go find your baby daddy, because that ain't my child right there. I don't know what that is. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence.
Uh-huh.
And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I'll destroy them with the earth. Make you an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall you make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch.
Now, Yahweh is omnipotent and omnipresent. He could just kill everybody and left him, alone. What happened when it was time to go and deal with this situation in Egypt? Said, look, just don't come out your house. Mark over your door with the blood of the lamb. The destroyer is going to know not to go in the house. Oh, and don't come outside. Long as you don't come outside, you stay in your house, you got the blood of the lamb over your post, he gonna know not to come in there. Now why he couldn't do that all over the earth? Do you think his hand is shortened? Even in your salvation, you gonna have to work. We want free salvation. We want salvation for nothing. We put absolutely nothing in, but can't wait to stand in the line to get something out. You think your salvation don't include you doing anything? Man, this brother got to clock in. All right, yeah. Finna kill off evil. Now, I need you to put this together. So no. Yahweh is going to work with you, not for you. You got stuff you got to do. Go ahead.
This is another instance of where people don't see grace, because with the time it took for him to build the ark, he was still telling people what was coming. That was people's opportunity to change. Yahweh gave them the opportunity to change if they had listened to Noah.
Brother, when we realize that we have opportunity to change? When it started floating off. You know what? You know what I should have done? Because see, I always know what I should have done when I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I always know that. And here is that thing. This is when you realize, and no matter how much time you give somebody, they always think they should have had more. Like, man, I gave you 20 years to figure this out. All I needed was 21. You give them 21, guess what they need? 22. Right. At some point, he got to step in. Go ahead.
And this is the fashion which you shall make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shall you make to the ark, and in a cubit shall you finish it above.
Now, not only does he have to make something, he has to follow the building code. Now, see, here is where most men gonna have a problem, because we don't follow instructions. Well, he said make, man, we had built a shed in my backyard. It was real, it was two-part process. There was somebody that was giving us a whole shed that we took down. Now we're going to take down this shed and go in my backyard and we put the shed together. This was given us, so this ended up being church storage. And my elder was like, yes, put this inside yard. We can stop paying that storage fee that we paying. We're going to get this free building. We're going to go there. We're going to pull it down. We're going to put the new building up. And we had a brother who was a carpenter, and he's overseeing the project. All right, take it down, put it back up. We get to my backyard. Now, this is a metal building. All of a sudden, we were like, so why we ain't got enough metal? We took a building down. We putting the building up. Why we got bad wood? So I think I see the cubit in the when we I think we made it too big. Right. We had a size right here. That same size. That means we got all the materials for this size. The only way we run out of metal, somebody didn't measure something. See, this us, right? Then we sitting there in front of the building. If we slide this metal, there ain't no way you gonna stretch metal, okay? You don't have enough. Because you didn't make your measurements correctly. He has a building code that he has to follow. Not only is he having to build it, he's having to build it by code, the code that was given to him by his Elohim. All of this, his salvation depends on. What if he don't make it right? You know how we be like, you know what, these was extra screws. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need all these screws. Look at all these extra screws they got in here. And then the first wave come and no idea. Wait a minute. What happened? You supposed to be what I'm saving on the earth. When I look out here, you in the water. What you doing in the water? And why I see lions floating in there? What? I didn't think you were serious when you said make it a certain way. See, he doesn't have to explain to you why he needs you to make it a certain way. You just need to learn how to follow your damn instructions. He's got to say to you, well, let me tell you something. Now, see, where you're going to be, it's not the Atlantic, it's the Pacific. Now, that water is going to hit different than what you are accustomed to. So I need you to make it like, why you got to say all that? Just follow the instructions. Make it the way I told you to make it. And you ain't got to worry about what kind of waves are coming. He got to do all this extra talking to you? Follow the building code. What's the building code? See, when you follow your instructions, it makes for less conversation. Let me tell you something. When you follow the building code, here's the inspection. All right, sign right here. All right, y'all have a good day. When you didn't follow the building code, here goes the inspection. Well, what's that? Okay, see what had happened was, all right. Now see, it was a hill right here, and then, I tried to hit, and I fell. I said, man, that's hard. So then I said we couldn't dig right there. So what we did, we dug over here, and then see that's why because what? All of a sudden, this conversation taking longer. Why is this conversation taking longer? See, when you do what you're supposed to do, or you follow the instructions that were given, that conversation's short. The brothers who had the talents and did what they were supposed to do. Blessed you are. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over much. What does the conversation come in? Well, I knew you was a hard man. I knew you was this. And what I did, I was afraid I buried your money and now you have yours. I mean, it's dusty, but here it is. That conversation wasn't had with the other two. Why is this conversation longer? Because you got to make a reason why you couldn't follow instructions. That's what makes the conversation long. Other than that, the conversation is short. I don't want the building inspector to stay at my house. I want him to get the hell out of here. So I want him to check, by. If he here too long, he might see something else. Wait a minute, when was this put in? That was put in 86. Well, you know, we got a new code now. I don't think that's supposed to be there. Because let me tell you something. You can get code, and them people make you fix stuff that ain't got nothing to do with your current project. They come in and say, all right, you putting this in? Well, we just looked at this electrical. You're going to have to change this whole electrical because that's no longer code. What you mean? You would have been fine until you tried to add this. Now that you've tried to add this, we're going to need you to fix this electrical. Now that's going to cost you $10,000. But I got to do this, and I already done started. Well, how much money you got? $10,001. That project ain't looking good now, is it? Right. Go ahead.
And the door of the ark shall you set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shall you make it.
Now see, I know some unhandy men that would have cut some corners on this door. Or they would have made a door, but then you can't open it. Go ahead.
And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. From under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with you will I establish my covenant, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shall you bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto you to keep them alive. And take you unto you of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to you, and it shall be for food for you and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that Elohim commanded him, so did he.
And this was a massive undertaking. So you understand how much work is included in your salvation. It's not just that you proclaim this, and this is where some things get kind of off, because we have been told all you got to do, whoever claims the name of Jesus, he shall be saved. Not understanding that if you believe on that name, then there's also some things that you're going to do. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. And we're going to read verses 1 through 17.
And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hands are they delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And you, be you fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And Elohim spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth.
Now, when you even try to get back and examine the lie about so-called being cursed black, when you look at these, the first ruling dynasties or kingdoms on the earth are black. So how did they become cursed black and they started off ruling? See, the Hamites ruled first. It tells you right away, you know, who Nimrod was, where all of these things that are happening. But they still present to us a Gentile when they do that. See, that we see white supremacy when it's a skinhead and he marching down the street with his Confederate flag. Do you see white supremacy when your Bible school teacher showed you white Noah? Did you see white supremacy when your Bible study teacher showed you white Jacob? See, we have to operate the same way that other people operate. Anytime we do something, they claim a certain thing. Oh, you being racist. Well, wait a minute. Then the Bible school teacher need to be questioned. We questioning the skinhead. No. That's not where you need to be questioning. You got a foundation was already laid when you was 5, 6 years old. Go ahead.
And I'll establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth.
Right. Now, are you able to recognize the adversary, the devil, when he does not pop up aggressive? When he enters smooth and calm, are you able to still recognize the adversary, the devil? This bow is a symbol of Yahweh's covenant. The adversary has made it the gay flag. Are you able to recognize? See, anybody can recognize the adversary, the devil, when he's yelling and he's screaming and he's doing something. We want to call that the devil. Here's the problem. That yelling and screaming may be Yahweh. Did they call Yahshua a devil when he turned over those tables? But that was Yahweh. He's turning on the tables to make them do what they're supposed to do. Are you sure that you are witnessing what you are witnessing? Or do you look at the individual who appears to be angry and say, that's the devil? And then you look at the calm person who has interjected the foul thing as, this is God. They calmly show you their gay flag. You say something against it, they say, this person here has gay phobia. This person has such and such. You have taken the symbol of my Elohim's covenant and made it your gay flag. But when you protest it, you are perceived as the aggressor. The aggressor was the one who slid it in. I wasn't the aggressor. I swung back. You took my Elohim's symbol of his covenant and made it for something foul. So you got to be able to notice the adversary has more than one form. We keep trying to picture this gravely ugly individual with a tail and a pitchfork and some horns. It says he was absolutely beautiful. Covered in all the finest gems. And you know, that's all we need to be beautiful. Let a brother get us some rubies. Forget diamond, rubies, sapphire, put them all on there. I don't care if you got 3 eyes. Sister's gonna be like, oh my goodness, he's so pretty. Did you see them rubies? That make you more handsome than having all the jewels. Lucifer didn't have some of them. He had all of them. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, did you recognize that as the devil? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I'll look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth.
Right. So what the adversary wants to do is he says, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant. Not only is he trying to change Yahweh's vision about the bow, he changed your vision too. So when you see this bow, you don't think about no covenant. You thinking about, I don't want to go in that club right there. That's a different club. Why don't you go in there? They happy. No, that's a different kind of happy. That's a different kind of happy right there. Why does that come in your mind? Because he has given us a different image of Yahweh's covenant agreement. And it was smooth. First you started seeing it a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So much, in fact, that when I first started seeing it, I just thought, these are some really happy people. There are rainbows everywhere. Then I started noticing, wait a minute, there's something peculiar about all the people with the rainbow. Because it's not like anybody just told me, there was no bulletin. Hey, how you doing? This is a gay flag. Oh, really? I was not aware. Nobody told, there was no announcement that, by the way, we have taken over Yahweh's covenant. Nobody announced this. You have to figure this out on your own. By association, you look, So now how many of our kids don't recognize this as being the symbol of Yahweh's covenant? Because these kids are now growing up in a era where they have not seen the other thing. They have only seen that thing. So to them, that's what a rainbow represents. Now what happened if an angel of Yahweh shows up and he has a rainbow over his head? Will somebody go up to him and try to kiss him? You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Go ahead, bro.
It's not just even the symbol of the rainbow. The average kid don't even understand what the word means anymore. But we had to formulate a different thought when we used the word gay. Coming up, it meant what you kept saying.
Happy.
Festive.
It was something that somebody could say. You know what? I feel gay today. You can't say that. Can't say that. You can't say that. You can't. Those words must not leave thy lips. Can't say that. That means something totally different now. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And Elohim said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth.
All right. This is the token of the covenant. Now check this out. Which I have established between me and all flesh. So, excuse me, what the adversary, the devil, did, he changed the image of this covenant for everybody. But this was smoothly brought unto us. He didn't announce no change. Let's go to chapter 17. Where we at?
15.
Chapter 15. Genesis chapter 15. And we're going to start that at verse 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 18.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahweh came on to Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Adon Elohim, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
You know, one of the things that we limit Yahweh on is we know that we have limitations with the flesh as far as our time upon the earth. What we do not consider is Yahweh is not bound by our earthly limitations. So we then begin to bind him on the limitations that we have for ourselves. So then we start looking at other individuals. Well, most of those people, they had a baby about 40. So, I'm 39. So, chances are I'm probably not going to have none. Now we have taken the limitation of other individuals, and we've now given it to Yahweh. We didn't just put it on us; we put it on him too. Now he can't possibly give us anything if he ain't giving it to us by now. You want to limit you? That's one thing. But stay out my God business. Go ahead.
And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir.
Now, he's questioning this right off the rip. Come out of whose bowels? I don't know what? Automatically, he's trying to figure out a natural way to make this happen. Go ahead.
And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be.
Now, this is a lot to say to an old man now. That's one thing to tell a young dude, man, you gonna have so many kids? All right, I can feel that. I'm 20. You start talking to a 90-year-old dude, start talking to him, you gonna have so many kids? Oh, yeah? So adoption bus or orphanage bus gonna break down right in front of my house, and then I'm gonna get all the kids on the bus? The only way I see this happening. Right. Because you limit your Elohim. So Yahweh can tell you what he gonna do. You still don't know how he gonna do it. Go ahead.
And he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahweh, that brought you out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adon Elohim, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
Now, here is where you see, all right, there's belief. I believe in Elohim. But there's a little bit of incident question there. See, this is where the adversary dwells. Right in your little bit of teeny bit of question. That's the door in which he comes through. That's all he needs. You don't have to leave the door wide open for the adversary. Just leave it cracked. Just leave it cracked. Because at this point, what you may just read this situation. But there's some other things that end up taking place. Because when Sarah then comes and says, marry my handmaid and bring forth this child, if he was steadfast against it, he would have said, no, Yahweh gonna give us this through another way. Why you think he agreed so easily? See, people have said, well, she brought him that other wife. He agreed, didn't he? Why you think he agreed? He's got to find in his mind, sometimes this is what the fleshly mind does. I got to make a reason why this has to happen. Go ahead.
Even in this day and age in the medical field, you get up to a certain age, they'll tell you, well, trying to have a kid at this age, the kid's going to have all these problems, so you might want to reconsider.
Right. Hey, man, I had a doctor tell me while the child is being delivered.
If I knew you guys were going to, deal with natural childbirth, I would have never choose you guys as clients. You know, natural childbirth is not natural.
Go over there. You and your doctor's coat. Go over there. No. And stay over there. Don't come back over here. Yeah. And then think nothing was wrong with the statement. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not.
Right. So he's making a sacrifice for Yahweh. There's no law code for this. This is the answer to his question. Whereby shall I know that I shall inherit this? All right, give me an offering. A lot more understanding is coming out of this that he don't even understand. But this is what's coming from his question. Go ahead.
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Stop. The people who are in the land, where have they been for 400 years? What place can they name that they were serving and being afflicted for 400 years? Now, this is the foundation. The foundation is telling you not only what Yahweh is saying. Now, we already read through the book of Judges and showed that Yahweh said that the children of Israel were created to be his servants. And if you don't serve him, then you're going to serve your enemies in your enemy's land. And we see how Yahweh punishes the children of Israel through captivity. So slavery is a bona fide punishment of Yahweh. Right in the beginning of the book, he tells Abram, your seed shall be servants and shall be afflicted 400 years. This is a foundation. Now understand, everybody who's claiming to be Israel say that they study out of the Torah. This is the Torah. All right? These first books are the Torah. This is the first. This prophecy is given. This is a marker for who Israel is before Israel was. So now we have a characteristic. When we are going to pinpoint something in the nations, if you're telling me that you are those bloodline people, then I have to look for a 400-year captivity in your past or your present. No matter how many times you talk about another horrific event, that horrific event does not equal 400 years. I don't care how many times you tell me the horrific event. You know, I can't get to the bank or, they said, hey, you tried to buy this and there wasn't enough money. But I've been going to work every day. Sir, you trying to buy this, but there's not money. But I've been going to work. Sir, what you're trying to buy is $52. What you have is $13.56. You will not be able to purchase this. But I've been going to work, working all day long. I'm so tired. This is what people are telling us. They're not telling us what's in the book. They're giving us something else, and we buying it. No, what I need you to do is stick to the building code. The code here says they shall be afflicted 400 years. Now, I will just sit by and I'm going to wait for you to show me that in your history. Or are you in the present state of being afflicted 400 years? I mean, let's say you're in year 200. Okay, we have an argument here. Now, I can say, well, hey, in another 200 years, then maybe, you fit this. But if you're on day 0, you see how we're having a problem here? You see the issue that we're having? You can't show me, even when you present your most horrific thing, how were you slaves? You were not. I don't see how this fits you. Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Okay, so the nation that you came out of, if you came out of Germany, why is Germany still standing? I mean, they hope that Germany is standing. Now that I found out all them checks that they're getting from Germany. The last thing you want is Germany to fall when your checks get. If you're getting payments from General Motors, last thing you want to hear on the news, General Motors just folded. Ah! You don't want them. If you getting a check without going to work, last thing you want to hear is that company just filed for bankruptcy. They are going under. Last thing they want to hear is that something happened to Germany and they're getting 3-4 checks from Germany. Well, how did he judge that nation then? How are they able to still make payments? Go ahead.
And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the lawlessness of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that, when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto your seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
And this is why the people in that made-up name of a Middle East are worried. Because they said, we know the manner of these people that's here. They're a warring people. They're going to keep trying to expand their land. Because they're going to go back and say, this is what we want. We want from the river Nile to the river Euphrates. Because that is what's prophesied to Israel. But you see how hypocrisy works? They want the fulfillment of what's in verse 18, even though they don't match the fulfillment of verse 13. But if you don't know no better, you don't go back to verse 13. So you let them tell you how the fulfillment of verse 18 needs to be given unto them. You got to know. Back up 5 more verses and show me how verse 13 fits you. Then we can discuss how you supposed to have verse 18. So prove to me verse 13, and then we can discuss how you supposed to get verse 18. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said unto him, I'm El Shaddai. Walk before me, and be you perfect. And I'll make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly.
Right. See, the covenants that our Elohim is making with specific individuals, they are conditional. See, the things that we have been given and passed down was that, what God has for you, you ain't got to do nothing for it. Nothing in this book fits that. He says, I'm going to do all of this for you. But you got to be perfect and walk perfectly before me. But what they keep telling us, you don't have to do anything. Just believe in him and all of this comes to you. Now, how do we get the blessings of Abraham but not be subjected to what Abraham was subject to? Abraham was subjected to walk correctly before his Elohim. How you inherit his promise, but you can walk however you want to walk? Go ahead.
And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made you.
Right. So then we understand the way Yahweh works. Now, this is the foundation. This is the beginning. All right? His name was changed to meet the purpose of his life. So when we consider what it is we name ourselves, are you naming yourself for the purpose or something that fits his purpose for you? Or we just picked a name that sound good? Or made up a name that don't even mean nothing? People just throw Yah in they already twisted Gentile name.
So what was your name before? It was Richard? What's it now? Richardia.
What? What? What the hell does that mean? Are you serious right now? I can't even call you that. That's like calling a grown man delicious. I can't do that, bro. I can't do that, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Now, every man ought to be able to name himself, but bro, I'm not finna. I gotta have respect for myself. I can't call you that. I can't call you. You have to figure something else out. Cause I can't call you that, man. That I sound stupid every time I say. I feel stupid. I feel like my IQ is getting smaller every time I call your name. I can't do that. You're gonna have to go and study and figure out what you're gonna name yourself, cause that ain't gonna be it. Cause we're not finna call you that in here. I'm sorry, bro. Did you have something? Okay, go ahead.
And I'll make you exceeding fruitful, and will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I'll establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be an El unto you and to your seed after you. And I'll give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I'll be their El. And Elohim said unto Abraham, You shall keep my covenant, therefore, you and your seed after you in their generations. This is my covenant, which you shall keep between me and you and your seed after you.
Right. This is my covenant, this agreement, this alliance that we're making. There are conditions in here that I need for you to pass down to your offspring. And we have to understand, it says, if anybody entices you. Do you understand why he has in the law entice? Entice is offered smoothly. Entice is interjected in a very sweet fashion. Instead of somebody saying, hey man, let's go worship the adversary of the devil. They're not gonna tell you that. They say, hey man, look, why don't we go to this Halloween party? Look, we're not gonna worship it, all right? We're just gonna hang out. See, a lot of y'all done already got invitations to Turkey Day. And when you're new in the word, they try to rationalize that.
Well, turkey, it's not a god. Everybody eat turkey. Don't they eat turkey at your church? Oh, that's all we're gonna have, some turkey, some dressing, collard greens, you know what I'm saying? Little yams, you know what I'm saying? Your God don't hit yams, do it? All right, well, come on out. It's just Thanksgiving. What are y'all thankful for? Didn't the same people come over here
and kill all the individuals who they said they was thankful for? So are you thankful that they killed off those people? What are you thankful for? Because from what I understand, this Thanksgiving ended up in a serious murderous plot. So now the kids show up and do their little Thanksgiving play.
Hello, I am Chief Watokawa. We will show you how to live here. Here, plant this.
Thank you, Indian. And then they killed them all off. So which part of this are we thankful for? Are we thankful for smallpox blankets that were passed out to kill them off? What are we thankful for? It is one of the dumbest things ever, but they control our mind. I understand why I get questions about it. Don't feel bad about asking them questions, because when I came in the Word, I was asking the same question. But folks said, why can't we celebrate 4th of July? Well, let's just look at it on the calendar. On the 4th of July, where were you?
I was chained up in the back.
Well, that's where you should be now. Read, bro. I'm going to be in the same place I was when it happened the first time. When it happened the first time, where was I? Okay, that's where I'm going to be. Go ahead.
Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of a covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of your seed. He that is born in your house, and he that is bought with your money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Elohim said unto Abraham.
Now this is a covenant. Once again, you're starting to see the level of promises, the levels of things that Yahweh requires to keep carrying this covenant on. It's not just about we're this people, we're that people. It's still about the agreements. And then you walk in the agreement. So if your adversary understands the nature of the agreement, to make sure that you don't regain your place with your Elohim, he blocks off your access to be able to keep these agreements. Go ahead.
As for Sarai your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I'll bless her and give you a son also of her. Yes, I'll bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Right. If she's going to be a mother of nations, if she's going to be a mother of kings, now he has to give her this title of princess. See, because now she's royalty. So she went from contentious to a princess. But that also means there has to be a change in mindset. Do you still carry the mindset of a contentious individual? Or do you now possess the mindset of a princess? Go ahead.
Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old?
I told you it was a question. I told you from the very first part, whereby shall I know that I shall receive this? Then he was made to do an offering. Here we go. Sometime later, the question, here it is. Now see, Yahweh didn't move on their time. Now there's already been some time since he said the first thing. Now you gonna come and tell me this again? Yeah, right. Yeah, man, I'm even old now. About 9 years ago, you said the first thing. Kid would have been 9 years old. You'd have gave him that when you said it. Now you gonna tell me this again?
Boy, Yahweh funny.
Because see, we take our limitations and put them on him. Go ahead.
And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you.
Right. See, now I'm going to take this promise and look, we done already, hey, look, she said, take this woman, have a child by this woman, that you will have you a seed. I have done that. We got this child, Ishmael, we got us a son, we done. That ain't the son I promised you. I mean, that's the son you had. But ain't the son I promised you. The son I promised you coming from the princess, her. Now you can have many kids you want. But the one I'm dealing with, coming from her. Go ahead.
Abraham said unto Elohim, oh, that Ishmael might live before you.
Yeah, you go right ahead and say all those things you want to say. Go ahead.
And Elohim said, Sarai your wife shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name Esau.
Yeah, since y'all like to laugh, I need you to call him Laughter. Since when I told you this was going to happen, she did the same thing he did. She laughed and he laughed. So they just decided the name of the child right there. Consider that. We have all these names, and we go by and we're going to pick Hebrew names that end in Yah, end in L. He said, no, y'all already decided the name of the child. Why? Because both of y'all laugh. This is why you have to watch what you do. Imagine the angel come to y'all, and y'all know what happened when something happened that we don't like. Oh, shh. And y'all would say, that's the name of the child right there. That's the name of the child. Because both of y'all said that same thing when I told y'all what I was going to do. This way, that's what both of y'all. So I want y'all to remember what you thought. Your entire life of that child, I want you to call his name what you said. Might want to be careful. Go ahead. They didn't know they were naming their child when they did this. Understand that? There's probably no other child ever who was named, hey, laugh. Laugh. Where they from? Who named their child Laugh? They didn't know they were naming their child when they did that. Be careful, because he's very poetic with his punishment. He watch how you operate. Oh, that's what you do? Got it. Oh, that's how you gonna deal with that? Got it. You be done forgot by the time he bring it back to you. Go ahead.
And I'll establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
Uh-huh.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I'll make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Esau, which Sarah shall bear unto you at this set time in the next year.
Right. See, now he's giving him some more information. He could have been told him that. When he was going to do it. He asked, whereby shall I know? But then even asking that question, he still tried to figure out how he was going to do it. So he went about his own method. So much, in fact, that they believe that Ishmael is that kid. Now, here's the problem. Have they presented that to Ishmael? See, there's certain things that we don't even consider. So now, does Ishmael have this thought process that he really is the Ish? I am the Ishmael. I'm that one. Matter of fact, did he not also have a problem? And so did his mama. We have brought forth the child for him. So is there arrogance? Because they don't think another one coming. So is this arrogance going so far that it has now affected the way this child operates? Go ahead.
And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as Elohim had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Now, this is a long, this is a real late circumcision right here. To be 90 and 9 and talk about circumcision. There's a reason why they circumcise on the 8th day. You know, you heal differently as a youngin'. You know, ain't no fast healing when you're 99. That's why you don't find too many 50-year-olds running full court basketball at the 24-hour gym. I tried it once. Felt like I was that dude at the circus that swallowed fire. It was foul in my chest. I ran up and down that court a couple times. After that, I was on defense the rest of the game. When they came back down, I'm gonna guard it. Boy, stop. That's a different situation. So when you talk about this, you also have to look at the dedication of any job. Imagine you having a job and they say, you know, saying, look, welcome to General Motors. To be here, we're gonna have to cut off your foreskin. I said, say what? Imagine he got servants in his house. That's just their job. And he comes and his situation, I talk to my God. Okay? Y'all all got to lose your foreskin today. No, I've grown accustomed to this foreskin. It's been with me all my life. I got to lose it today? It's contingent upon employment. See, some of these things we read, and it sounds real easy to read, but you have to understand the implementation of some of this. That you got to go look at other men in their eyes and tell them this is what this is going to be. And it's going down today. Do you have what it takes to do that? Or we still trying to be everybody's friend? Some of us can't even do it in our own house. How you gonna do it in front of a group of another group of men? Go ahead.
Excuse me, boss. Who performing the surgery and how long they been doing it?
You know?
Well, since we just heard about it,
we haven't really perfected how it's supposed to be done. Matter of fact, you first. Hey, y'all know how that works. You know, you get better at it as you do. So what happened? And they said, you know what? We probably shouldn't have took that much off. What? When did they figure out this is the amount that should come off? At what point did they figure that out? Go ahead, bro.
And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised.
13. So there is a mindset. See, when you allow certain things to go on for a while, there's mindsets that are being set, and sometimes people can't come out of that. Go ahead.
In the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his son.
Now, 13 years old. He said, Sarah gonna have a child next year. He's now having 14 years of only child status. And he's the son of a man in his old age. So do you understand how well this boy is treated at this point, up to this point? For all practical purposes, he's got a daddy and 2 mamas. You can get spoiled by one mama. He got 2 of them. Go ahead.
Who all believe that he is that one.
They all believe he's that one. Okay? That was the reason why she said, marry my handmaid and bring forth a child by her. They believe he's that one.
And all the men of his house, born in the house and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him.
All right. So now let's go to chapter 22. Genesis chapter 22. And let's start that at verse 1. See, our thing is we don't really see that sometimes Yahweh is going to ask something of us that is going to be difficult. We believe that everything that we're going to receive as a blessing is just going to easily come to us and we don't have to work for it. I don't know where we get that thought process from, but it has truly infected us. These people are receiving wonderful blessings, but I hope you're paying attention to the work and the rearranging of their thought process that has to happen for this stuff to go forward. Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham.
Wait a minute, tempt him? No, Elohim wouldn't do that. See, if I'm blessed of Elohim, why would he let me have a problem? Go ahead.
And said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Esau.
Now, why does he have to say that? Why does he have to say your only son? He done had a son for 14 years. Now you gonna tell him this is his only son? Yeah, because I know what you thought about that boy. See? I know what you thought. I know what you was bringing forth. I know what you raised this boy believing. But for 14 years, he has believed that he's the one. He, my friend, is not. You gonna have to rearrange your thought process, and then you gonna have to help rearrange that boy's thought process. Go ahead.
Whom you loveth, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of.
And not only that, now I want you to offer this up. Because see, now you have seen the fulfillment of the promise that I've given unto you. Now I want you to offer it up to me. Remember you said, whereby shall I know I shall receive it? All right, go make an offer. Remember that thing that you asked for? See, you wanted me to prove it, right? All right, now I want you to prove it. See, it never does occur to you that the things that you ask Elohim or the things that you subject other individuals to, I hope you paying attention. Because your turn coming to be subjected to the very same things that you subjected other people to. I hope you remember it. So my mama used to tell me, when you dig a hole, baby, make sure you dig two. One for them and one for you. He made Elohim prove it, didn't he? Whereby shall I know? All right, my turn. Whereby shall I know? Offer it up to me. Right. Do whatever that is you feel like you got to do. Just make sure you remember what you do. So when it come back, you're not crying, oh, poor pitiful me. Make sure you remember it. But I'm going to need you to remember it poetically. Because it's not going to come exactly how you put it out. Sometimes you got to sit there and meditate. I know what this is. Then when I stole that lady's car and I messed up her steering column. That's what this is. See, you got to think. You gonna have to he gonna put 8 other pieces together and leave the 9th piece sitting on your table. You gonna have to put that final piece in there and say, this is what I did to that lady. Right, go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Esaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went on to the place of which Elohim had told him.
Right. Now to other people, they say, oh my God, this seems so unfair. Why would Yahweh tempt him like that? You don't remember him tempting Yahweh though. See, we don't remember what we tempt our Elohim. But we sure remember everything that he brought forth in our life that we didn't think was fair, that we don't think we deserve, that we don't think should happen to us. Go ahead.
Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you.
Now, understand something now. There was a holy man when the prophecy was given about Yohanan, and he decided he was going to ask, whereby shall I know that this thing going to happen? The angel said, I'm telling you how you're going to know, because you're going to be dumb and not able to talk. The man couldn't talk from the time he asked that angel that question. He didn't ask another thing for another year. Once the child come out and the angel said what the name was going to be, then the angel released his mouth so he could talk. That's at least 9 months. Remember, she ain't pregnant yet. And he asked, how shall I know that this shall happen? I tell you what, you want me to prove it? You won't say another word till the baby get here. You mean I ain't gonna talk for 9 months? That's what it is. Then the baby got here and he still wasn't right away talking. He's got to say, give me a tablet so I can tell them this is gonna be the name of the child. Then he released his mouth. Now you understand. That punishment took almost a year. Ask me one more again. Hey, come on, you bad Cletus. Come on, Cletus. Ask me again. Ask me again. You didn't see that with Abraham right away. See, you just read right past that. No. So I hope you're paying attention. You may have to answer for each one of them questions that you end up questioning your Elohim. Whereby shall I know that you're going to do this, Yahweh? When you see me run and go behind the rock, what's up going? Because I know it's consequences and repercussions to that question. Go ahead.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Esau his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Esau spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Esau his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
Now, there's one situation that's not being mentioned here. And the one thing, there's absolutely nothing about Sarah in this encounter. Which begs the question, did he even tell her what they were going to do? Did she let her boy go out thinking he was finna sacrifice him? Because the boy sure don't know where they're going and what's about to happen. He understands just enough. Go ahead.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him.
Now listen to this statement. Go ahead.
For now I know that you feareth Elohim.
Stop. What was his question? Whereby shall I know that you gonna do this? All right. Now you have subjected yourself to the same question. Say whatever you got to say. Question whoever you got to question. Just make sure you're ready when it come back. Go ahead.
Seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of Yahweh it shall be seen. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahweh.
Now, I want to read that again. Verse 15. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time. So he 100 plus, right? Yahweh done talked to him twice. Pastor Porkchop claimed Yahweh done talked to him every week. I talked to God last night. Really? Because in 100 years, he done had 2 conversations. But he talked to you every night. That is absolutely amazing. But the foundation of our faith has had 2 conversations. But you had one every night. You might want to ask some questions about who that is you're talking to. Because I don't think that's Yahweh. Go ahead.
And said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahweh, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I'll bless you, and in multiplying I'll multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice.
All right, so there's conditions upon this covenant because you have obeyed my voice, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. So people say, look, don't get into all this stuff about genealogy. Wait a minute. Yahweh made me get into the stuff about genealogy. Why? Because he said in your seed. That's not my interpretation. That's what people want to tell you when they don't agree.
See, what you're doing is, so you got to understand, you know what I'm saying, eisegesis and exegesis. See, you looking into it to pull out what you want.
I know what seed means. And he says in your seed. So then that means there's a specific group of people that this was placed upon. See, people want to say, well, no, you looking too deep in it. Okay. Well, I tell you what. You have a house. You have cars. When you pass away, you got a will. How about we just not be specific on your will and we just give it to whoever we want to give it to? Wait a minute. No. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to go to your seed then. Right. Hypocrite. Read, bro.
That was it. But you know, even when you talk about seed, everybody understood that because what? You got people who hold on to Ishmael and they trying to say that he the one. And then you got those who understand it's Esau. So if it didn't matter of the seed, why y'all trying to hold on to one or the other?
Exactly. Let's go to chapter 26. Genesis chapter 26, and let's start this at verse 1.
And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Esaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And Yahweh appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I will tell you of. Sojourn in this land, and I'll be with you, and will bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries, and I'll perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham your father.
All right, so we think, all right, this is a path of Yahweh. This is something that we have to learn as individuals. Yahweh appeared unto him, Go not down to Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell you of. So this is anointed of Yahweh. He has decided that this is what we're supposed to be doing. We then think, because Yahweh has told us to do it, that we are not going to have any issues doing it. Who told you that? Go ahead.
And I'll make your seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto your seed all these countries, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Once again, the blessing shall come through your seed. That means a specific group of people. When people says, oh, we don't know who those people are. Go ahead.
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Esau dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, She's my sister. For he feared to say, She's my wife.
Now, Yahweh said stay in the place. He fearing that they're going to kill him for his wife. Wait a minute. Even though Yahweh says stay there, he's automatically having some issues. See, we think Yahweh is going to remove everything that we could possibly have before us. So then every time we run into something, I got to go, you know what I'm saying, because of problems happening, then this can't be blessed of Yahweh. That could have been something that the devil whispered in your ear. Go ahead.
You know, I find verse 5 interesting. He said, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandment, my statutes, and my laws.
Uh-huh.
And there's no official law code yet.
Right. But you have to understand something. Everything he said is a law.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that he commanded is a commandment. See, we looking for the ones in stone. When he said, don't eat from the tree, that was a commandment and a law. See, so we're still waiting for the official law code. But everything came out of his mouth was commandment and law. See, but we need the official one. See, this is Yahweh letting you know that there's conditions of the covenant. I just haven't officially given it to you yet. But why do I need to officially give it to you? You're not an official nation yet. So I don't need to officially give it to you. I'll officially give it to you when you become official. Go ahead.
Least, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Esau was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Esau and said, behold, of a surety she is your wife. And how said you, she's my sister? And Esau said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her.
Right. His father had the same situation. Said, look, I'm just going to tell y'all she my sister because I don't need this extra problem here that's going to come. So something must have been common among them people. They say, yeah, she married, you know, so it's to death do them part. So let's kill him. Ain't that what we did? Okay. Read.
And Abimelech said, what is this you have done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lain with your wife, and you should have brought guiltiness upon us.
Do you understand the difficulty of what he asked Rebekah to do? It says after they had been there a long time. So for a long, this ain't like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
This is a long time that he has asked her to pretend as his sister to keep these people off him. That means she's getting unwanted advances from other men. Why do you think he said one of us might have lain with your wife? And then we would have been guilty. She understand something. It says she was fair to look upon. What stops a man if he thinks she's free and she's fair to look upon? And y'all know we don't know how to look. Women can look quick. It don't take a woman but a half a second. Ooh, he fine. Done deal. We look like, yeah. And then we make the ugliest face possible and then get stuck in it. She's having to deal with this constantly because her husband asked. Go ahead.
And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Esau sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants. And the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Esau, go from us, for you are much mightier than we. And Esau departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Esau digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Esau's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Esau's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esaac, because they strove with him.
Now, understand now, Yahweh says stay here. But look how many problems he's having staying there. Do we abort mission as soon as there's some difficulty? See, some of us got that running spirit. That's why some people don't want to take their shoes off in the sanctuary. They can run faster if they got their shoes on. Because that's what we do. As soon as something don't work out, pew! You can't possibly please your Elohim. You can't sit still long enough to do it. He's encountering this, and Yahweh wants him to. Go ahead.
And they digged another well and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah.
Uh-huh.
And he removed from thence.
He moving again. Go ahead.
And digged another well. And for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now Yahweh has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land.
Uh-huh. So, Yahweh give him his trouble, not to run him out. I'm going to keep pushing you to the place where I want you to be. Now, he's not coming to him and talking to him to tell him to move. He's using the persecution to get him to go, boom, right here. I don't need you to go out of it. I know the exact spot where I want you. This is where I want you. Set up your house right here. Go ahead.
And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And Yahweh appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the El of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and will bless you and multiply your seed for my servant Abraham's sake.
Now, he doesn't appear to him until after it's over. See, a lot of us would have the faith to keep going if Elohim comes unto us first, tells us everything that we're going to encounter, and then tell us that he's going to be with us for each and every last one of those situations. That is not what he does. He allows him to go through each one of them. When it's done, then he shows up. Go ahead.
And he built an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahweh, and pitched his tent there, and there Esau's servants digged a well.
Right. I don't want to come to you before, least you put the altar in all those other places. I'm going to come to you when it's over, because I need to let you know where to build the altar. Because I know what you're going to do, but I don't want you to do it over there. I'm going to lead you to the place, but I'm not going to keep talking to you to do it. Did you finish that?
Yes.
Let's go to Genesis chapter 32.
And Yaakov went on his way, and the angels of Elohim met him. And when Yaakov saw them, he said, this is Elohim's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, thus shall you speak unto my master Esau. Your servant Yaakov says thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks, and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my master that I may find grace in your sight. And the messengers returned to Yaakov, saying, we came to your brother Esau, and also he comes to meet you, and 400 men with him.
Now, you know he's scared, shaking in his boots. He know the last encounter that they had, and now he's coming toward him with 400 men. He think he about to die. Now, Yahweh is all in this mix now. Go ahead.
Then Yaakov was greatly afraid and distressed. And he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks, and the herds, and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company, and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape.
Right. So he's thinking about things, and this is what we don't do. We like to think about things after they happen. He's already saying, look, I'm going to need y'all to operate this way. In case this happens, my whole house don't get killed off. Go ahead.
And Yaakov said, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Esau, Yahweh which saideth unto me, return unto your country and to your kindred, and I'll deal well with you. I'm not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which you have showed unto your servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I and become two bands. Deliver me, I pray you, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children.
Now remember now, Esau was the manly man of the field. All right? This is a man's man he about to run into, and they hadn't had any dealings since he did that thing. And now he coming toward him with 400 men. See, Esau was scary by himself. He didn't need 400 men. Go ahead.
And you saidest, I will surely do you good, and make your seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude.
Now, what he does in this, he's reminding Yahweh of the covenant. See, well, he's in a fearful point, and he thinks he may be destroyed. He remember now. Remember. See, y'all got to understand how to pray. First, he entreats him, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Esau. Then he reminds, remember how you had said that you were gonna save, and then it's gonna be a bunch of us. You remember? Well, I'm scared of my brother, and I'm going. He on his way to meet me with 400 people. I just want to remind you what you had said. Okay, go ahead.
And he lodged there that same night, and took off that which came to his hand, a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams.
See, some of us have to learn how to apologize. You don't just show up with a "I'm sorry." And we think, no, I'm gonna say it, I'm sorry. No, that ain't good enough. No, I lost something last time I saw you. He said, I've been saving up for this day that I'm going to have to see my brother again. See, a lot of people say, wait a minute now, remember now. He said, I've been over there 20 years. 7 years for each daughter. 6 years, what is it, for the cattle? Been over there 20 years.
A lot of us said 20 years, we just let bygones be bygones.
He been stacking up for this meeting. Go ahead.
30 milchkins with their colts, 40 kin, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove.
Mm-hmm.
And he commanded the foremost.
This is a man that knows how to say, I'm sorry. He don't just give them all the gift at one time. He give them a gift, and he said, okay, that's nice. Then something came, well, what's this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what's this? Well, what about these? Oh, this is a man that know how to lay it on. I hope y'all paying attention. Go ahead.
When Esau my brother meets you, and asks you, saying, whose are you? And whither goeth you? And whose are these before you? Then you shall say, they be your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent on to my master Esau. And behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second, and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, on this manner shall you speak unto Esau when you find him. And say you moreover, behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I'll appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face.
I will appease him with the present that goes before me. I know I did wrong. I'm going to make this right. And it's not like, okay, Yahweh has allowed for the blessing. Got that. He was supposed to receive the blessing regardless of who was born first. All right, that was already been said. But according to my brother's heart, I deceived him. I am going to try to make this right with my brother. Now, I can't give him back the blessing because Yahweh said it's mine. But I can make an offering unto my brother for how I made him feel. Go ahead.
Peradventure he will accept of me. Verse 21. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Yebok. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. And he said, I will not let you go, except you bless me. And he said unto him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince have you power with Elohim and with men, and have prevailed.
Right. And he said, Your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, which is Prince of El. For as a prince have you power with Elohim. So you can listen to the name. If you pay attention, it gives you the definition of the name right behind it. So once again, we see that when Yahweh deals with men who are going to be the holy seed, all their names have definition and meaning. Go ahead.
And Jacob asked him, and said, Tell me, I pray you, your name. And he said, Wherefore is it that you does ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved.
Now, he said, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face. Now, before that, verse 29, Jacob asked him, said, Tell me, I pray your name. He said, Wherefore is it that you does ask after my name? And he blessed him there. What you want to know my name for? Then he called the place Peniel. Now you have to ask yourself something. If he knew the name of the angel, would he have then named the place after the angel? You see how a servant of Yahweh may do some things that may feel aggressive to you, but he's keeping you in the way. See, the angel could have told him his name, then he named the stuff after the angel, then Yahweh got to do something to him. See, that's that thing that was told unto Moshe. Beware, I've sent the angel to lead you in the way. Beware of him, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression. His job ain't to be liked by you. His job is to keep you in the way from getting destroyed. That means he gonna say some stuff you don't like. That means he gonna do some stuff you don't like. But should he just say a bunch of niceties to you and let you die? And how was that love again? Go ahead.
And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank.
And we have this thing that Yahweh, even the name of Israel, is coming through the lineage, through the covenants and promises, through the seed. So this is happening to a specific group of people. All right. We're just going to do one more tonight. Today, we're going to cut it off right here because we're going to be here tonight if I keep going. So this is going to be a place where we'll begin next Sabbath. We're going to finish this up today in Genesis 35. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
And Elohim said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto Elohim that appeared unto you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments.
Right. Be clean, change your garments. We have to understand when we are even going to present ourselves unto Elohim, how do you appear? It says wash you, make you clean. Our Elohim says he's a jealous Elohim. Y'all know if we going out on a date, we don't wash our clothes, we don't wash ourselves, we don't wash our car, we don't put a wax job on the car, we don't put some of that funny smell good in there so it smell like cologne inside the car. We done picked out the right music. We got it laying already on the, so we can get to it quick. This all we do for a date. Then we come to Yahweh, dusty, musty, all on a shirt. You don't think he got a problem with that? How are you appearing before me? Act like you're coming to see somebody. Go ahead.
And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I'll make there an altar unto Elohim, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears.
Now, consider how difficult some of this is going to be, all right? Look, I understand what we've done in the past. And y'all know we grow accustomed to things the longer we hold on to it. He said, come on, give them up, all you strange gods. I know everybody got them. Come on, we make a God pile right here. I need all the strange gods. They all got them. Go ahead.
And Jacob hid them under the oak which was in Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of Elohim was upon the cities that were round about them. And they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob.
But what if he didn't have them to remove those strange gods? Would the fear of all the other nations still be upon him? Go ahead.
So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is, Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there Elohim appeared unto him, when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Elon Bakuth. And Elohim appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padam Aram, and blessed him. And Elohim said unto him, Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be your name. And he called his name Israel. And Elohim said unto him, I am Elohim, I am El Shaddai, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of you, and kings shall come out of your loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Esau, to you I will give it, and to your seed after you will I give the land. And Elohim went up from him in the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spake with him, Bethel.
Now, when we look at this, we have to consider how Yahweh is carrying this covenant step by step. Now, unlike Abraham and Esaac, who had one blessed seed apiece, yet everything that proceeded from Jacob, surnamed Israel being male, was blessed and anointed of Yahweh our Elohim. Those 12 sons of Jacob are forever engraved in the palms of Yah and can never be removed by man or beast or by heaven or by earth. So when anybody professes that they are this people, then they are saying that this continual seed of lineage belongs to them. That means that as we go through the Torah, you should be able to present these things. He said, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall serve them and afflict them 400 years. You can't tell me that you are those people, yet you cannot produce these instances, these things. This is why we are being fooled with, pay attention to this event that happened to me. That event may be horrific. My problem is, why didn't Yahweh mention it? Yahweh specifically says, I declare the end before the beginning. Somebody has to explain to me, why is your horrific event not in the Torah that you say you live by? And you can't be afraid to ask the question. That's all that we're going to do for today. We will start from there next Sabbath, Yah's will, and get back into these covenants, because you have to be drilled on some things, because people have, especially when you are in control of media and what's being presented, it is presented in such a way for you to have low self-esteem about who you are in this book. The only way you're going to build that self-esteem is to go over what it is that other people don't want you to know, because you have to be able to ask these questions. And all you have to do is present it. But you got to know where it is and how to present it, so that the people who are talking all bold, because they'll use the language, you don't speak the language, then you must not be true Hebrew. Well, then you got to go right in. Well, I'm going to need you to show me what's in the Torah. The Torah is what you go by. I'm going to need you to show me this in your history. Don't allow anybody to change the focus of the conversation. And that's what happens every time. Each time you find one of our people having a conversation with somebody who proclaims to be Jewish, they can say whatever they want. But when you start going back to that seed and having that conversation, all of a sudden the subject of the conversation changes. They don't want to go down that path because they can't go down that path. Pay attention, Israel, because a lot of these things look like they're going to get even more interesting. That's all that we're going to do for today. Let's also, thank you, brother. New moon is Wednesday night. All right. So understand there won't be any Bible study. We will then have our new moon, and a new moon is a new month, if you are not aware of that. So we will celebrate new moon Wednesday night. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.